everyone, welcome to today's episode. Welcome to my channel, everyone. My name is Anna, your online therapist. It's a pleasure to be back here, guys. So, thank you so much for the feedback and the reviews. Most especially, regarding, I see that a lot of people are beginning to appreciate alternative ways of doing things that we were used to, such as raising kids through punishment and other forms of behavior correction or modification. Today I'm going to be continuing, but I call this resolving maladaptive behaviors. Not so much. We're still under applied behavior analysis. This is going to be second to the last part of the series. I'm going to be rounding up on my next topic if I'm not interrupted by a very, very itchy subject that I really want to discuss, but I think it'll be good practice to finish the series first before I jump into that, and I definitely will. So guys, I want to talk about three very important items. I still have my notebook because hey, when you're a student, you gotta look at your notes. You gotta recall, you have to do research, you have to go online, and a host of other things that you need to do to have the right information. This is not hearsay, okay? When, how do I put it? When dealing with psychology or topics of psychology, it's so important to have enough research to back up whatever you're trying to talk about. Remember, I'm not an authority in these subjects yet. I'm still a student, so I'm having to gather information and resources from colleges, school professors, and teachers, and so on. Sociology, psychology, they are so interrelated. So today's topic, guys, thank you for joining me once again. Don't forget to comment, like, and leave your subscribe. Okay, don't forget to click the subscription button right there. Subscribe, and share with your friends and loved ones. Pardon the noise. I wanted to. It's pretty loud. I apologize. So I've made a few lists of things that I wanted to talk about. So today I'm going to be talking about resolving maladaptive behavior, because from this moment on, the topics are going to be about how to resolve maladaptive behavior. I've introduced you to maladaptive behaviors, what they are, how we encourage them, the things we do that can stop them, which is what I'm going to be talking about today. So we talked about reinforcement. My last episode was about punishment, okay? I got a lot of feedback about that, so I appreciate everyone who did listen and left their feedback. Thank you. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe once again. So today I'm going to be talking about three aspects of applied behavior analysis. First one is extinction. We're going to be talking about extinction, and just as the name supposes, we're going to be making a particular behavior which we do not desire to disappear. We're going to be extincting, if I should use the word, we're going to be extincting behaviors or maladaptive behaviors. The second of that is differential reinforcement. That means you only pay attention to what is good and you ignore what is not good. So you're simply trying to make the operant or the individual to notice that this behavior gets attention, that behavior doesn't get attention. So if we want attention, we have to do that behavior, okay? And the third and the least is basically building rapport. For you to be able to use reinforcement properly, you have to do what the client or you have to give the person what they want, the activities they prefer. These are the things you can use to bargain. Remember, reinforcement is like a bargain. We're bargaining with somebody. If you don't do this behavior, you're going to get a reward, okay? So let's get into extinction. Extinction means to simply stop giving attention to a behavior, okay? So when you stop giving attention to a behavior, what you are simply doing is you are telling the operant or the individual, child, adult, young adult, whichever, you're simply letting them know that I will no longer give attention to this behavior. Okay, as parents, you would simply see for parents, you see this a lot at grocery stores where kids are having a meltdown. Some parents who are not confident in their parenting skills in public, you know, public can be very judgy. So oftentimes it's like, can't you control that loudmouth child of yours? You'd be surprised what people say back to parents when their kids are kind of throwing tantrums. So for parents who are not confident in their parenting in public, they often give the child what the child wants, just to stop embarrassing them. But there are parents who are pros and who will make it clear to the child, I do not have time for your tantrums, and when you are done, meet me out front. When you're done, we can move along. And the child is like, nothing is shaken. Like, this parent is not abiding by the social norms of fixing an embarrassing situation. They're like, embarrass both of us. You can scream all you want. When you're done, extinction is making it such that a behavior no longer gets the attention it usually gets. It could mean a child screaming. It could mean someone yelling every time. When you stop giving attention to a maladaptive behavior, which is what we call bad behavior, you're simply fading it out of that person's expressive vocabulary. It's like, and sometimes it may not be, it could be someone doing something as awkward. Basically, when you're trying to extinct a behavior, you don't like to give it attention, right? That means if someone's knocking, hitting something, instead of like, stop it. Actually, when we tell kids, stop it, we're actually reinforcing the behavior, because oftentimes they look at it that, it's like, it's getting attention. You've heard of, attention is attention, was it good or bad? Just like publicity is publicity, good and bad publicity is still publicity. So energy is energy, whether it's negative energy or positive energy, it is still energy. So attention for a child who is acting out or displaying maladaptive behavior, the fact that it's like whenever they kick you, you like, stop it. And they kick you, you like, stop it. They will actually keep kicking you because they're getting your attention. They kick and kick and kick and kick and kick and kick. In fact, instead of, they kick you once, you look at them, they kick you twice, you just ignore them, they kick you a third time, you just walk away. Whatever they're trying to do, they have seen that action does not give them the desired result. So they're going to look for an alternative. And when you tell them, if you need to get my attention, you can call my name. But if you're going to be acting like this, I will not pay attention. Okay? So they know that they cannot bully you into giving them what they want with maladaptive behaviors. So the next one is differential reinforcement. Now, remember, reinforcement is what happens immediately, is a consequence, okay? Consequences are the things that happen immediately after a behavior. That means if a child is screaming, whatever parents do to try and stop or attempts to stop the behavior becomes the consequence. So reinforcement is a kind of consequence, but what you're trying to do is simply you're reinforcing a desirable behavior. You're stopping the undesirable behavior simply by ignoring it. When it's differential reinforcement, you simply don't pay attention to the bad behavior. For children who, if you're in a store and a child screams and you ignore it, but if they're like, Mommy, you said yes. So you've taken the screaming, you've ignored the screaming, but you've responded to the name calling, to the appropriate way to get attention. If they scream randomly and you don't pay attention, and they like tap you, mom, dad, and you give them attention, you're simply reinforcing the good and appropriate and acceptable behavior, and you're ignoring the unacceptable behavior. So this is what it means, what we mean by differential reinforcement. Let's get into the third one, which is to build rapport. Now, remember when I said reinforcement is only as effective as the reward you are giving, and that means in order to reinforce an appropriate behavior, there needs to be a reward for the appropriate behavior. When you want to stop something, you can't stop something merely by wanting to stop it. You have to give someone a higher motivation of something else to deter them from doing their current activity. Okay, same goes in normal life, not just for modifying behavior. Actually, if you wish to stop a habit, you cannot dissuade your mind or your brain from simply stopping. That's what people would where you have people who kind of have a withdrawal symptom. You can't just stop. You need to substitute for something better. Someone who is having coffee withdrawal can't just stop having coffee. They need to have an alternative to coffee in order to withdraw from coffee completely. So when it comes to having an effective reinforcement, you need to have a much better or a better reward, motivator. You need to have a higher motivator with the new behavior in order to get what you want. And to do this, it means you know what you have to build a rapport. Parents with their children know what they like, know the objects or things they gravitate towards. Music, songs, movies, colors, locations, activities, field trips. You need to know the things they like, because these are the things you can promise. You can say, we'll do this if you do that. If you maintain your room for every week you maintain your room, we get to go to the cinema. That is a motivation, That's something they're looking forward to, especially if they love it. Now, be careful about these motivations or reinforcement, because if they outgrow it, you find yourself back in square one. But the hope is, before it is outgrown, that they have developed socially acceptable behavior to the point where it's no longer tit for tat. You've already gotten the behavior, and they're kind of used to every Saturday or every weekend they go to the cinemas. You want to establish a habit and make it more seemingly permanent, I should say so. Okay, guys, so we're talking about speak to them, look out for preferred activities, preferred objects, and more importantly, we would say stop, do not reprimand, but I know this is almost impossible, if not entirely difficult for African parents. But the idea is, just like I said about reinforcement, reprimand, just like punishment, they are somewhat counterproductive, because you shout at a child, you tell them to stop doing it, but all you've really succeeded in doing is you've kind of created a negative reaction. So instead of a child being to stop because it's wrong, they stop because you scared them. So they attach fear, to that activity. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but the problem with reprimand is you attach a negative emotion to the activity. The activity has nothing negative about it. You simply, just because you want to stop, so you're bullying them, scaring them into stopping. Well, here's the problem with reprimand. Once they come of age, they would despise you, because it's like wasn't that big of a deal. Why did you make me so afraid of this thing for so long? Okay, so that's the problem with reprimand. Reprimand, it kind of connotes a negative emotion that has nothing to do with the activity. You're just trying to emotionally blackmail them into behaving, and saying, if you don't behave, the boogie monster is gonna come. There's no boogie monster anyway, okay? All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. A better way, I call it positive reprimand, but the idea behind a positive reprimand, instead of telling somebody, why did you do that? What have you done? How could you do that? It's preferable when you say, I know you could do better than that, so I'm just, I know you can do better. I don't accept this. Yeah, you did something, but it's not your best. I know you can do better. Okay? Instead of saying you failed, you are terrible, you are such a, so, saying destructive things as kind of a destructive criticism, if I may put it that way. So a positive reprimand, more or less, is like speaking to their ability to self-regulate. Yes, so a positive reprimand is what parents need to tend towards even more, which basically is your putting back autonomy into the child's hand by simply reminding them of their ability and competence in self-regulating. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. That's pretty much it for this episode, and I will see you in my next episode. Until then, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and do share with friends, families, and loved ones. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.